Hello everyone and welcome to my March wrap up. So I have done a couple of readathons this month, so I will link both those wrap up videos in the descriptions down below so you can see what other books I've read this month. Outside of those readathons, I've read 4 more books and it's been a real mix this month. One of them I gave 2 stars to, which I know I hardly ever do. One of them I gave 3 stars to, one of them I gave 4 stars to, and the other one I gave 5 stars to. So literally right across the board this month. So I'm going to start off with the book I gave 2 stars to, and that is Talia and the Capture of Roth by CJ Quinn. This was very kindly sent to me by the author directly herself, and I did write a full review of it on my blog, so I will link that review in the description down below. But basically, I just didn't get it. This is a middle grade fantasy, and I know that being a 26-year-old adult, I am not the target audience for this, but I have read a lot of middle grade fantasy as an adult and really enjoyed it, so I'm not entirely sure that my age is really the problem with this, really, but it just fell totally flat. The characters were really underdeveloped, the plot was bizarre, the dialogues were just really robotic and unrealistic. There was a really heavy-handed message about how we should look after our environment and things like that. It had a great idea, but it just wasn't executed well, unfortunately. If you want to read my deeper thoughts on it, then maybe give my review a read. A book that I gave 3 stars to this month was The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. I got this on NetGalley. I did write a full review of this as well, so I will link that in the description down below. This is a YA fantasy about a girl who comes from a family of witches, and it's revealed that she's a necromancer, but this is frowned upon, so she is taken away by an older necromancer witch in order to own her skills and be able to use them for good, basically. And I did enjoy it. It was fun, but I just didn't find it very original. I did like the most of the side characters. It's got a great cast of diverse side characters in this, which I really enjoyed, but I'm not immediately excited to pick up the sequel, and I don't know if I will be continuing on with the series, which is why I didn't give it more than 3 stars. But it was fun while it lasted, and it was quite action-packed, and I did kind of warm to the main character, but yeah, I'm just not immediately excited to continue with it, unfortunately. A book that I gave 4 stars to this month is Molly and the Cat Cafe by Melissa Daly. This was just a really cute, light, fluffy read about a little cat whose original owner unfortunately develops Alzheimer's, so she can't look after her anymore. So she is rehomed with a man who has some vicious dogs, and obviously she doesn't like that. So she runs away and becomes an alley cat, and then eventually she is rehomed by a woman who has recently opened a cafe, and the cafe is struggling, and she comes up with a awesome idea involving Molly the cat in order to make the cafe a successful business. So it was really cute. There was a lovely romance in this, and it was just a little bit of light relief that I really needed this month, and I really appreciated it. So yeah. And the book that I gave 5 stars to this month is of course It by Stephen King. This took me almost 2 months to read. I started reading it at the beginning of February. I was originally buddy reading it with my friend Steve at the Lawn Gnome, whose channel I will link in the description down below, and he finished it ages ago, and he was raving about it, saying it was his favourite book ever and things like that. And I think I can actually say that it is certainly my joint favourite, if not my favourite. It's probably my joint favourite Stephen King book with Pet Sematary, because it was just awesome. It used to be my favourite Stephen King books were the Pet Sematary and The Shining, but this is better than The Shining. I'm going to say that because it was just so epic, so terrifying, so thought-provoking. At times it was a total mindfuck, but it was just so realizing that you can actually overcome anything if these kids can overcome what they overcome. The insane chemistry between these characters was just absolutely amazing. Even though it's like 1400 pages, it didn't drag at all. I was still completely hooked, had a total book hangover when I put it down. And I'm really, really excited for the film that's coming out later this year. The trailer is already out. If you guys haven't seen it, please watch it, because it's terrifying and exciting and all of those things that you want from a horror. And as a horror fan, I often say that good horror, good supernatural horror is so hard to come by. And I'm so glad that I've read it, because I know that it is one of those hidden gems in the horror genre that I'm going to be talking about for ages and ages, and it's definitely one of my favourite Stephen King books. So yeah, a very, very easy 5 stars for me. Please read this if you are into horror at all. If you're planning on seeing the film and you haven't read this book, then you've got plenty of time to read this absolute monster. So please go ahead and pick it up before the film, because it's just absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to see what they do with it in the upcoming film. And that is it for my March wrap up. What books did you read this month? Let me know in the comments down below. I will leave all of my social media in the description down below. I hope you're having an awesome day, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye bye.